Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. I've been doing just little tinkery little jobs over the last couple of days and kind of finishing off some of the other jobs. So for instance, I've welded here, I've welded there where there was a gap, I've kind of sanded this, sanded that, welded this, painted this, sanded and painted in there, just put a bit of paint on here, just see how it looks. Kind of loaded that seam there with paint, sanded all this, ground and sanded all this joint here where the plug welds are, and just put a little bit of paint over the whole thing and kind of loaded this with paint so it runs down underneath. So, you know, hopefully that'll be okay. Because this shape of this door isn't very well defined, I thought, well, how good is the shape of the wing? Here's the wing. I've took the wing off. I wanted to try and finish this area here a little bit better than it is. I've trimmed all that there. That's been trimmed off. So that's roughly as I remember it ought to be. So I was a bit worried about this shape here. This wing fits the door on that side, which is slightly better shaped. So I've took this template of the shape there. That's a template of the shape, and lo and behold, this one is pretty well that shape. So, you know, as far as I can tell. I had to rework the other one heavily. You know, basically, well, yeah, they are what they are. They're patch panels. So I'm going to dolly this down a little bit, just crisp it up, get this down flat, and then I will sort of put like a blob of weld in the corner there that can be sanded to give a nice shape there, and I need to put a bit of weld there so that that can be sanded. I just need to crisp this up nicely. This flange was a lot bigger than it ought to be, so I've trimmed that back, and I'm going to, when I've done this, I'm going to look at this here, see if I can improve the shape of this a little bit better. It looks okay, but not quite 100%. When I fit it up and it fits okay, I'll put a little bit more weld along here and paint it. Okay, but I was a little bit, well, I was quite pleased about that, to be honest, that is the right shape. Yeah, okay. Considering I have to reshape this bit. Okay, I'll do a little bit of hammering and dollying then, and get this looking a bit more ship shape. Okay, right-ho. I've just noticed something that I haven't fixed. There's a few things on this side that I kind of glossed over because I was dealing with all the major stuff, but there's a hole there that I need to fix. So I'll have to deal with that. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then. Bye. Hello, I've put the wing back on. It doesn't fit too bad. And you can see just in that corner there where I put a little bit of weld in there, and then I've kind of ground it, you know, nice. Just put a little rounded edge on it. I think that fits pretty well there. Yeah, it's not looking too bad at all. And I did the same there as well. There was two sort of edges that were a bit short there. So that's looking okay. It's about as good as I can get it, to be honest. Got to do the same on the other side, and then I'm going to call it good for today. I've done a few little jobs. As long as I can just come out and just do a little bit, do a little bit, do a little bit, things will progress. Okay, that'll do for now. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then. Bye. Hello. Okay, I've come out and just done a little session, and there's virtually nothing to show for it. I did a little bit of work around here. I might have already shown that. And then I did the same job on the other side. Sort of revisited this area here. I did a little bit of welding on the back of there. Tidied this here. Tried to just get a little bit of better shape in it. The metal was a bit thin here. I had to put some weld in it here. But this wing's bolted on. Not permanently, but you know, it's got the bolt there, one there and one at the front. And it's not looking too bad. Yeah, looking good, looking okay, quite happy. I've trimmed the bottom of the wing there where it was sticking down, so that's finished now. So there's a hole in there that I haven't fixed, so I might look at doing that tomorrow. I will have to see the best way of doing this here. So there it is, it's sitting back with the wings on. They're not on, but they're just on for a test fit. Yeah, not looking too bad. Okay, I'll bring you back tomorrow when I make a bit more progress. Cheers then, bye. Hello. A friend of mine sent me some information saying when you get warpage in the panel, it's probably due to the shrinkage of the weld. And I don't know if you can see it, but what I've just done is I couldn't support the weld. But what I've just done is pushed the metalwork out and hammered the weld kind of downwards. And I've managed to, I don't really know if the camera can pick it up, but I've gone from 3 large hollows to sort of lots of small little imperfections, which I think is much more manageable. I've gone to like a hollow here along the bottom. In other words, up here it's actually a lot better. There's a small hollow there, but it is a lot better. It's more in the realms of what you could imagine being able to fill. And then there's a hollow here, but you can imagine filling that and blending it all in. So yeah, so it's not great by any means. I have ordered a shrinking disc, so I'm thinking if I just end up with a series of small lumps, I can probably try and hit those with the shrinking disc and just kind of make it better than it was. I can't make it perfect. I've been watching Kyle Carter and people like that, and they can get these things a lot better. But for me, as a sheet metal fabricator with very little experience, I can only do the best that I can. One of the problems is it's hard to get to both sides of this thing. So what I think I might do, bear in mind I'm talking to the camera and just trying to think this through, I might take this window out. That will allow me to get my arm down there. But the access is very poor. You can see you've only got that narrow area there to get into. And what I've been doing, there's my hammer. Yeah, I've just been going in with this pry bar like this and pushing the outer panel out while hammering the weld. Okay, anyway, I didn't really come out to do any work, I just started tinkering around. That's better than it was. So who knows, with the shrinking disc, not that I'm putting too much stead in that. Yeah, that panel definitely looks better if you look in the area sort of 3 or 4 inches down from the body line. It definitely looks better. Okay, right, I'm quite pleased with that. Okay, right, I just thought I'd show you that then. A little bit of easygoing tinkerage. Okay, back in a bit. Hello, I've just been doing a little bit of bash on that panel there, which I showed you. I've done a couple of little more knocks, but I can't really progress that. I have actually ordered a shrinking disc, so I'm going to try and use that if I can. My attention switched to this little area here, and there was a couple of holes there, so I've kind of hogged it out and I've made this little piece to go in, if you can imagine that piece sitting in that hole. So I've left a piece of metal on it but cut it down to the bare bones so it'll break off easily, and I'm going to use that as a handle to put it into place. So I'll get that in there, that'll sit in there. So I'll get that in there, that'll sit in there, and I'll try and weld it in. Okay, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello, I've got my auxiliary light here. Hello, right, there's my little piece welded in. The little tail that I left on broke off nice and easy, so that's good. It's very difficult to sand or grind the welds when they're in a little corner like that. You know, like that bit in there. So, yeah. Well, there it is. Nothing that a little bit of filler won't sort out. And that's a tiny little bit of rust that's repaired. Oh, I'm homing in right on a really bad bit next to it, but, you know, that's going to do for now, I think. I might have another little... Oh, I've got a bit of phasing going on. Okay, righto, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. I came out to the garage last night and did a little job, and this is the right hand side of the car. And I started looking at this. I don't want to bend it back and forwards too much, which has to join along here. But I found a hole there, so I cut it out and I welded a piece in. And while I was welding it, I discovered another hole just here, which I tried to weld up and chased it all over the place. So that's a right mess. So what I think I'm going to do is I'll take this plug out and I'll weld a piece across here. I think I'll come here with a grinder. Move that. I think I'll come here with a grinder, with a wire wheel rather, clean all this, scrape that, scrape this area here, clean back to there, up there, and so it can take a coat of paint. And then I'll just give this a little grind, nothing too drastic, and then bend this round, and I've cut this piece of metal which will kind of form the bottom edge of it like that. That can be plug welded down then. It's only going to be a quick job, nothing fancy. Okay, back in a bit then. Hello, I decided to replace this part after all. When I took the bung out I saw some more compromised bits there. I didn't see that bit, that's come out since I've knocked it out. And there you can see where I chased my tail, and there you can see all the mess underneath. So yeah, so I'm quite glad to get rid of that bit. It doesn't add anything to the car, does it? And that was the original piece that I found that I wanted to replace. So yeah, a bit lumpy and bumpy, but you know, hey, it is solid metal. Okay, so hopefully now I can do what I intended to do, which is to wire brush this area so that it can be painted. My anvil is there because I used it because it's heavy. You can imagine when I put this piece in place, I just wanted it to sit there. So I just let the anvil lean on it like that with this. It's like a 3-point thing, isn't it? It just, you know, puts a heavy weight on it to hold it in place. I didn't use cardboard, I just used the metal. I went round and drew around it with a pen, and then I was able to trim it down to within 2 or 3 mil of the pen line. So it's a very small lap, and it was a butt weld along there. Okay, right, so that's patched. I'll clean that so it can be painted. I'll probably clean this up here so I can paint all the way back to there, round like that, and then I'll fold this back and just get it welded in place. It's not going to be anything pretty, just purely functional. Okay, righto. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello. It's a few hours later and I have done that job down there. That looks okay. Put a little bit of fiberglass in that bit there that had a couple of little pinholes in it. I bent this round and attached it in place. You see a little weld at the back there. Then I'd already made this, but I fitted this. Just went for a sort of a bead every few inches. Round it down, hammered that in there. This is absolutely rock solid. This is the base for the rear seat. Absolutely rock solid. I cut this piece here and formed a flange on it, and then stretched it to give the shape. And I've just got that welded in as well. Again, this was spot welded around to about there, and then it was tack brazed on the original, but that's okay. That's pretty solid, to be honest. Later I will come out and give it a coat of paint. I'll vacuum it out and give it a coat of paint. Okay, right. That's quite a few hours work there, to be honest. And it's nice and solid. I wouldn't say it's immaculate, but it's nice and solid. And you can see the amount of tools that you need. Sander, grinder, wire wheel, other tools there, look. Clamps, gloves, all sorts. Righto. Anyway, yeah. Quite pleased with that at the end of the day. It's okay. It's well functional. Okay. I'll bring it back just for a last little bit with a coat of paint on it, just to show you how it looks. Ruby's first walk. I'm filming, so there she is. First time out in the park. Already met one dog. And you can see the size difference now between the two. Hang on, Sue, she's having a sniff. Lots of sniffs. She looks tiny, Sue, doesn't she, out in the open air? Oh, she wants to go down there, look. Oh, go on, keep going. See there, they're not bothering each other, Sue, because they... This way, Meg. There we go. There you are, just a little clip of the first walk. Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. I just mixed up some of this body filler. It's not filler, it's filler for when you're trying to bridge across holes. But it's a glass fibre strand filler. And what I wanted to do is just to put a layer of that across everywhere where I've got the welds, in case there's any little holes or pinholes. But I've put like a heavy layer in there where I've got that depression, because I want to build that up. So I thought I'd start with a little layer of that. Well, not a big layer here, if you like. I've made a real mess with it, but I'm hoping I can just sand it off after. I'm not going mad on the bodywork because, you know, there's lots of areas of the car that is far less than perfect, and I am certainly, you know, famous last words, certainly not doing a full respray. So, but I thought all the repairs that I've done, I would just put a layer of that on first. So I've come round here and I've gone all the way along the back as well. There was I'll tell you what I did in a moment, and there's something significant there. So I've gone all the way around it. It's really messy. You cannot work it like body filler. You just got to do your best with it. It's really for budging up holes. So that's what I did this morning. Just 10 minutes doing that. And what I did also is I made this. This is a V block, just an odd one. It's not hardened or anything. And I softened all the edges on that side to make like a V dolly. And all the way along here, I held this at the back and hammered on this side with this welding hammer, like that, all the way along, just to make sure that the part where the weld was low, so I could put some of this filler on it. So I did that all the way along there. I did it all the way along there, and also all the way along there as well. And on that part that's on in front of the wheel arch there, where the repair is on the quarter. So I went along with all of those with this, just to make sure that the weld part was low. It might not be, I don't know. We'll find out when I start sanding. So so that's the first thing, and I'll come out later when it's gone off, get all the excess off, and just give it a bit of a sand. I don't know what to do. I mean, I haven't even stripped the paint back. I'm hopeless, really. I'm not a bodywork guy by any means, but I thought I'll just make the best of what I've got. A quick bit of filler, nothing fancy, and then a bit of primer and a bit of paint. Just make it black. Yeah, still slightly tacky. Okay, so that's what I've done, and I will bring it back when I do a bit more. Hello, welcome back to Mart's Garage. I started rubbing down that fiberglass stuff that I put on, and I don't want to be sort of on a downer or anything, but I realised what I don't want to do is like a respray on this car. I didn't set out to restore this car. I set out to repair a relatively complete 100E from the 50s, you know, and just get it up and running, up and running and driving. That's it really, not restore it. So I've got to come to a sort of a decision about what I'm going to do about the areas that I've repaired. Pardon me. I have put some filler on this, the glass fibre filler, not proper body filler, and just rubbing that down. I just know I just don't want to do this. I don't want to respray the car. So pardon me. I've got, I mean, I don't really, maybe I could just leave it like that. I think what I'm going to do is just put something on to contain it. If ever the car gets resprayed at some point in the future, it can all be taken off. It'll all have to go back anyway, but I'm thinking just kind of aerosol paint it, or even brush paint it, just along the areas that have been repaired. I will put some more filler in that area there, because that area is seriously low. So I'm not happy with the bodywork side of things. I'm not a painter or a car bodywork guy. I'm not a sheet metal man. I ain't any of those things. But I do know that I don't want to spend months respraying the car. So I think I need to put something onto this so I can just forget about it. Something's springing to mind as I'm saying it, but you know, I will give it a bit more filler, just a rudimentary filler job, the briefest of sanding downs, and just on the external panels I'll just give it some of that etch primer and spray can black, and it will, the areas that have been repaired won't be particularly hidden. It will be obvious that they have been repaired, but you know, to a sound standard, I suppose. But that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I'm just doing a really terrible job of this, but I'm not prepared to do anything better than this. I just haven't got it in me, I'm afraid. I hope that's not disappointing to some people who want to see something roll out immaculate, but it ain't going to happen. So I'll continue, but at some point I will just apply some black paint and leave it at that, and carry on to get the axles in, and you know, get the seats back in and everything back in, and get it running again. Okay, those are my thoughts at this moment today. Who knows? Some point in the future all that might change, but for now I've just got to apply something that will protect the areas that have been painted, and you know, enable them not to deteriorate. Okay, right, that's about all I wanted to say really. This area isn't too bad. This area is hollow. I don't know if it'll stick out enough when I get rid of the hollow. Similar there. I don't think this sticks out far enough here. I don't know if these panels were different because they were 4-door rather than 2-door, but it's, well, not very good really. I'll probably give it a going over with filler, just to take the worst of the dips out, and then just dust it over with black paint and walk away, think of something else to do. So the question is, brush paint or aerosol? The question is, primer or don't even bother? I think I ought to put some primer on it, but I'll use spray cans on the outer body panels rather than brush paint. Okay, righto. Let me carry on then, and I'll bring you back when I got some more to show. Hello, right, it's about 10 minutes later, literally. I just went around with some red primer. Obviously the sills actually look okay because they're, you know, there's no, the outer surface is fine. I went around with some red primer. Just, I thought, I'm not even going to bother with this. I'm just going to paint it red primer, and I then just got some satin black and I've painted it over with the satin black. I'll probably give it another coat of the satin black, just blending it all in. It looks crap, but I'm afraid the rest of it, you know, the rest of it ain't great, is it? Let's yeah, let's just give it the absolute minimum. That was my original thing, wasn't it? The absolute minimum to get it up and running, driving, and this is the absolute minimum on the bodywork side of things. You can see there's plenty of work to do. See, this paint's got a little bit of shine to it at the moment, so you can see there's plenty of imperfections there, even on the ones that I didn't think were too bad. I think this one's actually, yeah, that's got a bit of a, it's got a bit of a low in it. I mean, you know, worst case scenario, just think of this as a guide coat. You can see the red bleeding through, so I'll give it another bit of black. You know, you've got moss fading into brand new paint. It all needs coming off, doesn't it, down to bare metal really. But, you know, hey, I'm not in the mood for messing about. I hadn't sanded a little bit there, so I'll sand that, and I'll paint this sill as well. Oh no, I've got to do some more repairs just in that area there, so I've got some more repairs to do there, and then I can paint this sill. Okay, anyway, that's my little bit of nonsense for today. Just a little dusting with satin black. Okay, right. Maybe matte black would have been a better idea. I can always go over it with some matte black, can't I? Okay, righto. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for clicking like. And thank you for commenting. I always like it when people leave comments. So thanks a lot then. Take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then. Bye.